Thank you very much. First, from my side, a good morning to you, and thank you for invitation being here and the opportunity to talk to you about the airport and airport design and the airport environment of Brașov. I would like to do this with these three statements. And first of all, next please. Of course, about the quality. I'm managing director and architect from my side at Iproplan and responsible for all those designs in my former career as well. So if we talk about the quality of architecture, we have to bear in mind that the airport in Europe, the modern airports, are kind of an identification, a place where people go to and where people leave, and the first time where they go to is the airport of a city and a country. Next, please. So this is my hometown, Hamburg, and this is the airport. You see a wonderful departure hall with a steel girder shaped like a wing of an airport, of an airplane. And with bright light, natural light, sunlight, and so on. And I think it's a wonderful impression you have if you leave this airport and if you come to this airport and transfer these experience to the city of Hamburg, and this is kind of an identification and a sustainable value, and this is very important also for the new design for Brașov Airport for the next future, to get this or the same experience and the same results also for Brașov. Next, please. This is another example where I've been responsible for. This is Stuttgart Airport. You see also here the departure hall with the steel and tree-shaped columns, which are in a certain way defining this room and the situation and the mood and so on for this atmosphere. So I think if you travel via Stuttgart, you will never forget this outstanding construction, and you will never forget, and you will always remind this airport. And I think this is very important for Brașov in a certain way, to do it the same way, to have guests, travelers and passengers from all over the world who come from or who come to Transylvania, and the first step to this area is schlussendlich the Brașov Airport. Next. Of course, this is an outstanding example. This is New York and this is JFK Airport. But what I mean is that this airport is about 60 years old, 6 decades, and it is still an airport which is modern, and it fits to the modern times, and it will have an expression, concrete architecture, and it has its place in the world architecture of airport design. So if you remind this, and you will keep bear in mind that the value of architecture is very important for Brașov Airport as well, then you have to think about the quality of architecture, and then you have to ask always, is the quality concerning those themes enough? Should you fight and struggle for it, and so on? Because I think we should not design for the next 5 years. We have to bear in mind, and we should design it for the next 10 to 20 years. We should consider the enlargement of airport design, and so on. Next. But it's in smaller way possible. This is Paderborn city, a city in Germany which is, I think, about the same size to Brașov. It's not the size of New York, of course, but I think Paderborn has an airport which fits to the size of it, of the city of Paderborn. And for instance, I think this is a quite nice result to get the balance of an airport which is modern, which has a modern language in architecture, in material, and in the functional dependencies, and so on. Next. So, and this is the last chart of the first statement. This is the center of Brașov, and perhaps we find in the next future. I've just heard in 2020 we should have the result of the competition and the realization of this airport, and then we can fulfill this chart at this place. Next, please. We've just, in the first statement, talked about the architectural themes and the architectural importance. But I think straight and clear functions are important as well. So I think we should define it because the travelers and passengers should use an airport stress-free. So if we could depart and arrive without stress and without problems, I think then the passengers are able to use the airport in another way. Next, please. Short ways. This is an example of an old airport in Germany. It's Berlin-Tegel. Also, this airport is about 60 years old, and I think the basic idea to guarantee the function of it are still modern and still actual. Unfortunately, due to the themes coming from Schengen and non-Schengen, from terrorism and the updated security reasons, I think the airport is overworked and I think adjusted in certain themes. But I think we can see that the way and the area to park, to leave this car, and to go by bus to, and to go through the security control to the gates and into the plane, I think it's about 30 meters. I think it's a very short way. So I think the possibility and the opportunity to get into this structure to this plane, I think it's still up to date and still a modern mechanism to use this airport design. Next, please. I talked about the stress-free way to the airplane. I think assigning is very important. A clear concept to reach the gate is important as well, and modern features to communicate and to find the way to the gates, I think, for young people are important as well. So please, next. Then you have time enough to use the retail areas, to use gastronomy, to use restaurants, bars, coffee shops, and so on and so on. I think this is a modern time to guarantee that the airport is not only a traffic building, it's like a mall where you can earn money with, and you have to balance the retail zones in order to the traffic conditions like check-in, like security, and so on and so on. Yes. Third statement, leaving the airport without problems. I think if you come the first time to an airport, I think the question is what will the expectation for you, and how do we get the land side? Next, please. I think this is an example from Munich. This is a linear concept. On the left side, you see the parking places for the planes. Then you have the linear concept of gates and so on and so on. And here on the land side, there are located the parking houses, parking buildings, and in the center and the middle axis of it are the main facilities for the like hotel, like event areas, and so on and so on. Restaurants, coffee shops, and so on, shops in total, and in certain areas. So I think it's a very clean and a very simple concept, but believe in me, it's very hard and very difficult to keep this concept from the first time, from the result of a competition to the realized completion, like you have it in Munich, for example. Yes, back. I think you have to struggle for this result. You have to, let me say, there are so many influences from all sides. Could we change this? I have an idea that, and so on and so on. So, and you have to keep very strong on this concept, to keep it and to struggle for it, to try to be very clean with those things, that the realization afterwards is understandable and usable and so on. On the right side, you can see a traffic concept. It works with a clear signing. You can see it far away from here, from the driver, and so on. I think it's necessary to have a good traffic concept afterwards. Thank you. Hotels, conferencing, and other event areas should be directly orientated and located in opposite to the main terminal. Cab driving concept also must be clarified and organized. Next, please. So these are the main 3 statements to the airport design and to the conditions to clarify and to avoid perhaps mistakes in airport design. But unfortunately, nowadays it's nearly impossible to design a new airport on a place where nothing is before. Next. So this is an example for Stuttgart Airport. I was the project manager of it, and this was the first part, the Terminal 1. And the international competition was to enlarge it in this way. This was the competition model, and this was a photo, an image, nearly before completion. So I think it's nearly the same, if you can see this. But the way to it is, next please, it's a very complex way, because you can't close an airport while you plan it, while you design it, while you work with it, while you refurbish it, and so on and so on. I think it's a very strategic, or it's necessary to find strategic solutions to come to from point A to point B, to guarantee all the airport functions like arrival, like depart, like baggage claiming, and so on and so on. So, and therefore there is a way from existing airport 1. This is the new one, the new part, and this is another existing airport B, and you have to come from B by this connection to this A part. And next, please. And so are solutions very, let me say, outstanding and very expensive. But this is an example for the situation that you cannot close an airport by doing something new. Next, please. So a few examples from my side where I've been responsible for, and the team leader and the responsible architect for the design. Over there, this is a competition for the Tenerife airport. This was an interior perspective drawing both for Taiyuan in China. This was Düsseldorf Airport after the big fire where a lot of people were injured. This was an international competition for the Frankfurt Airport. This was Munich Airport, where we lost, unfortunately. This was the first prize for Frankfurt Airport, and this Pierfinger A, so-called the name, is nowadays realized, and it works. This was for Zurich Airport, an example where we could combine or connect all the landside facilities by a curved pier to a total figure with this where we can go by people mover systems, etc., from this part into the other part. And this is a huge example for Vienna Airport, with a big part of landside facilities in the middle, where offices, hotels, events, and so on are located. Next. So, and this is my last chart. Thank you very much for your attention. And the first and last impression of a city is its airport. And this is my last sentence, and thank you for your attention.